and he says, and I'm going to stop them drugs pouring in across the board. But all these things we talked about, and I left his office after 35, 40 minutes. I said, he's going to be the greatest president in history. But I didn't stop there. I do my due diligence on stuff. I want you all to really realize this. I go, did I just see this? This would be amazing. He had no agenda other than to help his country and help people. I believe me, I get in all walks of life and I see through. I can read someone. I had a bar for 13 years. You learn to read people. It's not a good place for an addict. But I went around and I talked to his employees, and every single one that I would talk to said the same thing. He's a great man, a great boss, a great leader, and he had personally done something personally for each one of them that I couldn't believe it. Wow, this is great. I couldn't wait to go back to Minnesota to tell my media. Remember, this is August of 16. I was the media's darling. I could go, I'm going to be going on, landing onto my building today. There'd be 20 outlets going, how far, how big, Mike, how big? They're all excited from every single news outlet, every single media. So I get back to Minnesota, and we had a board meeting right before. I wanted to do a press release and tell everyone that I met Donald Trump, this running for president, and I met him in a private meeting, and my board, half the people on my board, they go, Mike, you're not going to, you can't do that, you're going to ruin our company. And I go, what? And I go, so I walked outside, I was so mad, I was outside the office, and my CMO, she came out, she goes, we didn't get this far by you not listening to God. And I go, that's right. I went back in and I said, we're doing that press release because we didn't get this far by the listening to God. And I did that press release in August of 2016, and here's what happened. It was crickets at first. No, they didn't call, they didn't write, and then it came. The social media and the hate that poured out, they called me a racist, they called me everything you could think of. The Better Business Bureau, terrible outfit, took my rating of my pillow from an A+ to an F. I was attacked by truthandadvertising.org, a very bad organization, but they just attacked me. I go, what did I do? I felt really bad that I had done something when all those people, I thought they were real people, these bots and trolls. People, they're attack groups that attack them. They're hired on social media to attack people and bring them down like what's going on right now with all my boxers that got attacked by. But anyway, that was my first taste of it. And so I learned in 2016, going into 17, I learned out there that these weren't, this wasn't real. And there, some people piled on, of course, but I had done nothing wrong. I had done my due diligence. You're never going to take that from me. The man I met in that office, and he didn't let me down. Everything he said he was going to do, he did. And then I'm giving you the 4 times that I'm going to give you the 4 times I was attacked like that. So then we made it through, and we navigated through all the hate back then. We had a couple of box stores back then that they bribed us for they wanted better pricing back in that, after the Better Business Bureau did that. And I wouldn't give it to them. I said, talk to the hand, you're not getting nothing. So anyway, then I'm going to bring you up into, you look how great things were over 14 months ago, the place we were in. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. But I'll tell you, when I get done with this, we're in a better place right now, and I'm going to get to that.
Please tell me why are we in a better place? This feels like hell.
I'm going to tell you, last spring, when I was invited by our great President Donald Trump to come to D.C., and he didn't know I was going to do this, but you all know, I don't know if you've seen it, we got out to the Rose Garden. And I got up there and I asked him if I could say something off the cuff. And the Lord led me to say this. I said, we should all spend time in our Bibles, get back in the Word, a nation that turned its back on God, and we got to bring God back into our school. I'm going to spend time with families. You would have think that I shot somebody. It was everybody attacked. There was an attack everywhere. Late night, from your late night talk show host to everything. But it was a little different on that one. 95% of the world, that was heard everywhere, was against that blue mouthy 5%. It was amazing. And by the way, after that, my company went through the roof. Then we all seen this. Here we are in the middle of this terrible China virus pandemic, right? So it gets to be May. This guy brought me this guy came, I became like an information center. We started making masks for everybody, my pillow, and at that time, and doing everything we could. Well, the task force, I had a contact with them, and it was like, if you hear anything, bring it to us. So I did. I heard a guy who brought me this cure, this stuff that worked on the virus, and I went out to tell the world about it. The first place I went with it was on CNN of all places. And if you all seen that 24-minute attack, right, by Anderson Cooper. And I prayed for him after that because it was terrible, but I figured I could go on other networks and because that got so much publicity. But guess what? All the other networks would let me come on. That was my first taste there. Wait a minute, this is big news and you don't want to talk about it? That was weird. It was a different kind of animal that I'd seen. But now they don't even watch on TV. This is back last summer. And I'm talking Foxes, you're seeing it didn't matter. Everybody went silent. They couldn't even write a bad story about it. Like, well, I guess they did. They did attack the ones that did say something. Completely attack. It's a poison. Mike Lindell's trying to poison everybody. But the bots and trolls at that time and the hate that came out of that, my cousins that lived in other states were threatened to have a house in her again. I mean, I have never seen anything like that. Because I wanted to get this out there and get the word out there and get this country opened up again and get everybody would have been fine. I used it, my cousin, my employees used it, we've done all this, and I just couldn't understand it, but the hate was different. They went to box stores then, I lost the Canadian shopping channel then, Zulily, Woot, back then, I'm going, I didn't know they were attacked by bots. That was last summer. But like I said, social media, I mean, it was terrible. People that knew me, they went back to grade school, Hey, did you know Mike Lindell? So then we'll bring it up to now. So then all the way through this last year, I was all in for a great president. I went to rallies, I spoke, I went there, I tried to get on the news and say, this is, I would go to the rallies, I'd be right back with the news, but even none would have me on, just a few outlets, because they didn't want anything good being said. And, so then on November 3rd, and we all realized that I'm going to tell you the tale of three miracles. At that night, at 11:15, everyone knew he was going to win.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it changed. And I'm going to tell you what I know now, plus what I knew then. At 11:15, the algorithms broke in those machines. When I say broke, they need to set them. And you guys are all going to see that this week. They need to be set. I mean, you got to at least kind of predict how many votes are going to be total. Well, they underestimated Donald Trump and all of you. And the vote, what they predicted for him was around 68 million. In reality, he got 80 million votes. states were talking about in spite of the corruption and that they had these set, okay, these algorithms. So what happens in the middle of the night? Everybody stopped at the same time, okay? And all the states stopped counting. Well, if he hadn't broke those algorithms, okay, I'm telling you what would have happened. All the states would have been done counting by 3 a.m. Biden would have won by X amount, and we'd all been home and said, better luck next time. So that is a big miracle because the deviations started coming. This weird stuff. Oh, Michigan spikes up 100 and some thousand votes, and everyone's going, they're trying to convince us, look at those mail-in votes, boy, they all went for Biden. Let me tell you something. The mail-in votes were counted on the morning of the 3rd, not in the middle of the night on the 4th. In Michigan, Pennsylvania, they decided they could count all week. Arizona took a whole week to count 1%. We're gonna find out all about Maricopa County. They really do. Those guys, the people in Arizona, they are awesome. But what happened then is I went all in, and that morning I said, every day I do deviations. That's all I run my company on. Lots of deviations. I look at deviations. If I have a TV station that does normally a commercial that does 3,000, all of a sudden it does 20,000. Something happened. That's not normal. So every day I have a team. They'll call me the deviation. We have to find out. Did something happen out there? Did the host say something different? Something had to happen in order to give a different outcome. You had to have a different income to get a different outcome or input. So I started digging into micro counties myself, looking at just counties that didn't make any sense. And we all started doing that. Everyone's going, this doesn't make sense. It was like living in the Twilight Zone for a week. Everyone's going, what is going on here? You're watching them just take things right up from here. I guess we want Georgia too. Take that. I guess we want, Pennsylvania, which was down about 1 million votes. And so, crazy. Well, I'm telling you, and then all of a sudden we have reports, great people out there, you heard about it all over there, that, in case after case, they wouldn't look at it. We had all the evidence was there, the dead people voting, the non-residents, the people that voted twice, paper ballots, I call that organic fraud. This was fraud everybody heard about. So normally you just think, you go, that's what December 14th was for, you go and you show, hey, this really happened here. The other guy take them off the total, and this guy wins. But I'm telling you, that's the second miracle that nobody did their job. If those legislators would have done their job then, and if the Secretary of States, if the crooked governors wouldn't have been crooked, there's a lot of them out there. I won't name them. We all know who they are. If that would have happened, if everybody would have done their job, the legislatures, they would of course put down Trump, and it's in our Constitution. All the states would have flipped it and put him in. But guess what? It's a miracle they didn't do that. Because why? Because we wouldn't have found out about the machines and the evidence, Dominion and Smartmatic, and this attack by China that came into our country and stole the election. That's the second miracle, and now I'll get into the present. So I'm looking at that in disbelief, going, what? These dates keep going by, November 3rd, December 14th, January 6th, and I'm going, wow, it's getting it. What else have we done before the inauguration? On January 9th, I seen a piece of evidence. Everybody was pouring evidence to me, but this was different. This was different. It was a piece of paper with just one sheet. They said there was thousands, where you had this cyber attack coming over from China and other countries, and they had the footprints, these cyber footprints. They had everything. IDs of the computers. They had the IP addresses, and I'm going, wow. So I didn't just stop there, but I did post it. I started posting it, and when I posted it, at the same parallel track, I'm digging into it with meeting these three guys, and meeting these other people, and and doing a deep dive. I got to the point, it didn't take me but 2 days to go. That explains what happened. All the things that I have done myself with a lot of people that I retained, a lot of people on the ground helping me. All these numbers that didn't make sense now make sense. They were right in front of me. So what do I do? Like anybody should do. I put it out there on social media. I tried to get to the president and show him. When I put it on social media, that's when it started. Okay, they started the biggest cyber attack with bots and trolls that this country's the world's probably ever seen. They didn't want this out there. They attacked my bot stores. Obviously, there's over 20 some of them now that have cancel culture because of that. They were attacked. I kept telling them these aren't real people. They were hired groups to kill this, okay, to squash this. Then it started. Well, then, again, first I get to the White House. Y'all see that picture? I was delivering something for a lawyer, and I had a piece of that evidence. And they take that famous photo outside the White House. Let me tell you something. That was a miracle that happened. You know why it was a miracle? Because the mainstream media started attacking me and going, about that. They came over the hill when I was at the White House that day, 100-fold running. This is the day before the inauguration. And they're coming out tripping over their cameras and going, hey, would you all like me to say something? They go, yeah. They go, you know what? I changed my mind. You'll find something real good to write. Met with the president and these guys that kind of shoot out of the White House, and I'm going, I sat there and I go, God, the inauguration's tomorrow. And then actually I was talking to Ben Carson, him and I were talking, and we both said, God doesn't go by that. God has his hand in all of this. And he's not going by November 3rd, December 14th, January 6th, January 20th. I believe right now, the place we're in now is a miracle where we're at, because here's why. Now people don't look for hope unless things are bad. And right now, even Democrats, friends of mine that are Democrats, they're going, what is going on? This is what we're in now, with our friends getting canceled, with, you go up on, I put that movie I made, I'll tell you that in a second, but I put it up on Facebook, and it contains nudity and porn. This is what Mark Zuckerberg does from Facebook, it's crazy. But I want to tell you, from that point on, and then I got all the evidence validated, right? So I couldn't get the mainstream media. Now listen to this. They all have my direct number. I don't have a publicist. I want to talk to them directly. You got Jim Acosta, CNN, he's got my direct number. Last time you called me, I'm going to stay on hold for 26 minutes. I actually had the Washington Examiner on the phone, which is a great paper, and I said, Jim, I'm talking to a journalist here. all of them, the Washington Post, the New York Times, the people from Fox, CNN, MSNBC, all of them, everyone had, all these reporters have my direct number. Now, every day, from January, about mid-January, or right after the White House, so every day from the day before the inauguration, every day my phone would ring off the hook. That's all I did. And then, when it would go quiet, Mike, you lost your 6 more companies are dropping you. What do you think? What do you think? I said, did you hear about Dominion and the fraud, the election fraud? The next day, they go, 5 more boxers dropped you. Did you hear about Dominion and Smartmatic and the attack on the country? I was keeping in the news. I said, and then I'm telling them that, I go, you guys, I have the evidence. I'll give it to you. I dare you to put it in your paper and talk about it. They wouldn't talk about it. Well, finally, they didn't call me for 2 days. So I'm sitting there, I go, well, how am I going to get back in the news? Because I got to get back in people's eyes that this evidence is there. So it's 12:30 in the morning. I'm laying in bed. I go, I know. I'll break my pillow Twitter. So I get on there and I put I said, at Jack, here's what at Jack did. Jack Dorsey, if everybody wants his name. At Jack, this is what I posted when you took me off Twitter. You know what it was? The last thing I posted was a beautiful letter from the director of my Lindell Recovery Network, and she put all this good stuff in about me, bless her heart. And that's why they took my Twitter down. That was the last straw. We're not going to hear anything good about this guy because we're going to crush him and destroy him. I posted that on Facebook. I posted this on Twitter, and Jack didn't take me down. I said, here's the kind of person Jack is. He did this. So I laid in bed, and I want to hurry up and get this done because I know they're going to start calling me in the morning because this will make international news, right? So finally I put, at Jack, we know you're a part of this, and we're looking forward to the day you're in prison. And it wasn't 2 seconds later, all the bots and trolls are going, take him down, Jack, take him down. And old Jack took him down, right? By the way, I prayed for Jack. I do pray that maybe prison would do him good and he'd find the Lord. So anyway, of course, my phone in the morning, it was huge news. They had done something to a company. They took My Pillow's Twitter away. It made news around the world, and they started calling. The Washington Post, the New York Times, they're calling me up. You lost your company Twitter. How do you feel? Did you hear about the election fraud with the machines in the Did you hear about China attacking our country? Every single day, they called me. Every day from morning till night, I took all their calls. I would call them back. My scheduler was going nuts, just going, hey, you got to call the Business Insider back, the Daily Beast, the New York Times, all these. Those are the ones that call. And the other ones during this time, guess what? They were afraid to have me on because they were afraid of getting sued. They were afraid of getting, whether they were part of it or not. I still don't understand Fox. They've already been sued. Why not have people on? And that's another story. So then probably the news will probably might picked on Fox. No, let me tell you something. My Pillow advertised on all channels. CNN, MSNBC, Fox, everything. I'll get to that in a second. Actually, I'll say it right now. Dominion not only sued me, but they went after My Pillow, which had nothing to do with it, right? I want to say something. There's 2,500 My Pillow employees. There's Democrat, Republicans, every race, every walk of life. We're like a big family. Employees have a lot of the stock in My Pillow. It's a private company, and how dare they sue them and attack them? But there's big news coming next week. Let me tell you. Before it, if I was Dominion and Smartmatic, they're out there suing people, and hundreds of people threatening letters. I said, if all of you out there were telling you, if there was a few of you out there saying, did you hear there's knives and rocks in My Pillows? What would I do? I would sue you. I'd say, I'd bring you in a pillow and go, look at this beautiful patent. There's no rocks or knives. Instead of Dominion saying, hey, look at our machines, there's nothing there to hide. What do? They just sue people and threaten us, and this is the thing you're going to find out next week. It's going to all change, okay?
Should we give this guy 5 more minutes? Come on! You got 10 minutes, 20 minutes, don't be here.
So now, I decided if no one's going to show this evidence on or wouldn't let us go on TV and talk about it, I decided I'd make a film. You You've all seen Absolute Proof. If you haven't seen it,
Yep.
we filmed this the week of the first week of February, and I told all them reporters every day that called me, these so-called journalists. Every day called me morning till I said, wait till the 5th. Wait till February 5th, you guys. I'm releasing it to all of you. You guys are, you're going to be wanting to show this to the world. Well, February 5th came. At 9 a.m., we launched it to the world. Now, let me tell you, Vimeo took it down in 10 minutes. YouTube took it down in 1 hour. Okay. They tried to attack it and break it. But you know what? It didn't get broken because 150 million people have seen that video. And I'm going to tell you all, here's how my morning of the 5th went. So at 9 o'clock when it went live, if you all know what buying Google AdWords are, I had put this up on the Michael J. Liddell site, my personal website I've had for 6 years, and I'll buy my AdWord, my personal name once in a while, so that you'll see it's me in case you do copycat stuff out there with Google. Well, anyway, I kept buying my own name because it kept putting these fake stories in between, so when you Google my name, you had to scroll down through all this garbage to see me. So I started buying my name. First it was 2 cents, then it was a nickel, then it was a quarter. This is a per click, right? I said, I don't care if I have to spend $1 million, people are going to see this movie. And I kept getting it. It got up to $1 a click, and Google took my name down and said, I can't even buy my own name now. But they kept $20-some thousand that morning, and they had no problems taking that, right? Just so you know, we'll do a little commercial here for Google. A friend of mine the other day, he had me on his radio show and he sent it out to his emails. They took away his Gmails and his Google Maps. They gave back his Google Maps 2 days later with a warning. That was a shot over the bow. This is where we're at, and it's scary that these monsters can do this. Wikipedia attacked me. Wikipedia, one of the most evil platforms in history. They took down, I couldn't get in there. They took down, now they control my Wikipedia. The first thing I'm known for is a conspiracy theory. Well, anyway, so now, but it's crickets. The mainstream media, they didn't call, they didn't write. I didn't hear from any of them again. None. Until that day, I kept going on. When I would get on there, I had to tell my left-wing people, I know some of them in the Daily Beast, I said, well, you go tell Dominion, why aren't they suing me? They should sue me. I want them to sue me. I want to put the evidence on. So I'm out there begging them to sue me. I go, sue me, Dominion, sue me. So they finally did. And let me tell you what happened then. The next morning, everyone started calling in. First one was the New York Times. My Dominion suing. I go, let's say her name was Kathy. I said, Kathy, you didn't call, you didn't write? I said, you're calling now? I said, did you watch, you're a journalist, did you watch Absolute Proof? She said, no, I didn't. Dominion suing you. I said, you know what? I made a short version for you. You go watch it right now or you can lose my number. And I said, I'll talk to you after you watch it. All day long. All day long, as they called in. And there was 35 of them. I made each and every one of them go watch that movie before. And they come back and said, what kind of journalists are you people? Not one of them watched it. Then this lady called me back. She said, yeah, I watched it, Mike. You told me to watch it. I said, what was it? And she goes, I said, really, what was it about? She said something stupid. I go, wrong answer. Now you get to go watch the long version. And she did. But let me tell you, none of them went out there and said the evidence was garbage. Because it's the truth. I want everybody to know that. You didn't see them post the evidence because it was the truth. And now I'm going to tell you right now, so what we're doing, where we're at right now, we all know since that day for me, so many of you out there, in the world, we have lost, you know what, I don't know what it's up to, 100,000 Twitter accounts. YouTube has taken everybody down. They've taken our voices. You can't go on TV now and you can't talk. I went on TV, I said the vaccine was the mark of the beast, and boy, they didn't even hear that. You know, on different things you can't talk about. That's my opinion, right? I mean, if somebody wants to take the vaccine, that's their choice, but I have my opinion. But they don't want to talk about that. If you talk about the vaccine, not wearing masks, The border, a friend of mine lost his YouTube. He's had it for years. And he had 14 employees. They took it away because he was saying stuff about the border. This is where we're at right now. And so what I've done, and you all need to hear this, is really important. In the last month, and this stuff I've been working on for 4 years, I was going to use it for my foundation, the technology. But during the last month, I'm putting up on Monday, it's a platform, it's like YouTube, Twitter combo, it's nothing out there like it. And it's called frankspeech.com.
Yes.
The platform is called Frank, where you can speak freely. And that's where Jimmy said, well, Mike's not going to allow you to say God's name in vain. Well, we're not. So when that's coming out, and everybody can come up there, I'm going to explain all your podcasts for people that have been suppressed. It's welcome to anyone. Anyone can come on there. And what we're going to do on Monday, the people that join, you're not going to be able to use we're not going to let you comment stuff for 48 hours. And here's why. At 9 a.m. on Monday, I'm running, if you recall, like the old Jerry Lewis telethons, it's going to be called a Frankathon. And I'm coming on at 9 o'clock Central, and for the next 48 hours, the first day is all going to be talking. But by the way, between 9 and 10 Central Time, there'll be an announcement you're going to hear around the world. And you're going to need to share this everywhere. That's what everybody can do. The stuff that we're going to talk about that day, the first day, Alan Dershowitz is coming on during the first hour. And he works, I hired him with my lawyers against Dominion. This is the thing here where he is so concerned about our free speech, our First Amendment rights. This is what's going on. This is our First Amendment rights where they're even using lawsuits so we can't talk. We can't do it. I got a call from a church in Australia the other day. They had something on there for before the election. They said, if you have anything on there like that again, we're taking you down for good. This is a church in Australia. They're coming after Christians too, and they would just take and start talking about God or Jesus. So this is where we're at with this. That first day, we're going to have all guests on. We're going to be talking about everything we've lost, and then the next day, we're going to talk about the good things. And then the next day, we're launching Absolute Interference. And when you watch this, every single person in this country, I don't care who you are, you're going to go, this was an attack by China, 100% proof. And you know what? In about 5 or 6 weeks, if everybody all gets the word out, this will